Let's start with the blessing, the bracha that we make before we learn Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Eloheinu,
melech
melech haolam, asher
kiddushanu
kiddushanu b'mitzvotav
v'tzivanu al
al
Torah.
Amen.
Now let me find where's the right window here? Is it this one? Nope. Not that. Is it here? Yeah. Okay. We are continuing in this subject of dreams, and we were in the middle of a story. Just wait for this to load. I used to think it was our ability to love and make friends that made us human, but apparently it's our ability to see what's a bridge and what's not. Are we human? Yay, we are human. Okay. We're talking about an evil man named Barhedya. Barhedya was a dream interpreter, and he was interpreting differently for Rava and Abaya because Rava and Abaya, one of them paid him and one of them didn't. The one that he paid, the one that paid him, he interpreted all the dreams, even though they were identical dreams. He interpreted them positively, and the one who didn't pay him, he interpreted them negatively. And as we read before, that a dream is like an envelope. If you don't open it, then you can't act on it. That dreams go after the interpretation. Okay, here we are up to. They said to him, we saw a pomegranate taking root on the mouth of barrels. To Abaye, he said, your business will increase in value like a pomegranate. And to Rava, he said, your work will go sour like a pomegranate. They said to him, we saw a barrel fall into a pit. To Abaye, he said, your merchandise will be in demand, as the adage says. Bread falls in a pit and is not found. In other words, everyone will be seeking your wares and will not find them due to increased demand. To Rava, he said, your merchandise will be ruined and you will throw it away into a pit. They said to him, we saw a donkey foal standing near our heads, braying. To Abaye, he said, you will be a king, that is to say, the head of the yeshiva. An interpreter will stand near you to repeat your teachings to the masses out loud. To Rava, he said, I see the words Peter Chamor, firstborn donkey, are erased from your tefillin. Rava said to him, I myself saw it, and it is there. I checked my tefillin myself, and I saw it. And Barhedya said to him, the letter Vav from the word Peter Chamor is definitely missing now. Ultimately, Rava went to Barhedya by himself, and Rava said to him, I saw the outside door of my house falling down. Barhedya said to him, your wife will die, as she is the one who protects the house. The Rava said to him, I saw my front and back teeth fall out. He said to him, your sons and daughters will die. Rava said to him, I saw two doves that were flying. He said to him, you will divorce two women. Rava said to him, I saw two turnip heads. He said to him, you will receive two blows with a club shaped like a turnip. That same day, Rava went and sat in the study hall the entire day. He found these two blind people who were fighting with each other. Reminds me of the story. Anyway, Rava went to sit with them, and they both hit him. When they raised their staffs to hit him again, he said, that's enough for me. I only saw two. Ultimately, Rava came at the end, and now this time he paid Barhedya. And Rava said to him, I saw my wall fall down. Barhedya said to him, you will acquire property without limits. You'll have a tremendous amount of real estate. Rava said to him, I saw Abaya's house fall, and its dust covered me. Barhedya said to him, Abaya will die, and his yeshiva will come to you. All his students will come to you. Rava said, I saw my house fall, and everyone came and took the bricks. He said to him, your teachings will be disseminated throughout the world. Rava said to him, I saw that my head split and my brain fell out. He said to him, a feather will fall out of the pillow near your head. Rava said to him, the Egyptian Hallel, the Hallel that celebrates the Exodus, was read to me in a dream. He said to him, miracles will be performed to you. So you see, finally he came, he realized that you got to pay this man. And all of a sudden, he's getting these beautiful explanations for his dreams.
Never occurred to
Sorry?
Rava that it never occurred to Rava that this guy was just full of it.
I don't know. But all of these things happened. All of these things happened. And one time, Barhedya and Rava were going on a ship. It took him a long time to realize that this was what was going on. So now we get to, you know what they say, what's the difference between a smart man and a wise man? A wise man learns from his mistakes. A smart man learns from other people's mistakes.
I would say it's the other way around, but okay.
Okay. Wisdom comes from experience. Okay, so anyways,
Whatever.
this is semantics. The point is that we're looking and reading the story from from the other end. Barhedya was going with Rava on a ship. Barhedya said, why am I going with a person for whom miracles will be performed? Why am I going and traveling with a guy who is going to have miracles happen to him? Lest the miracle will be that the ship will sink and he alone will be saved. As Barhedya was climbing onto the ship, a book fell from him. Rava found it and he opened up this man's book, and it says, all dreams follow the mouth. He said to Barhedya, scoundrel, it was dependent on you, and you caused me so much suffering? I forgive you for everything, except for the daughter of Rav Chisda, who was Rava's wife, whom Barhedya predicted would die. May it be your will that this man should be delivered into the hands of a kingdom that has no compassion on him. So when he saw the dream interpreter's book, and he saw that it said that whatever you the way you interpret the dream, that's what's going to happen. That was when he realized that this entire thing happened because he didn't pay. He said, listen, I'm willing to forgive you for everything besides for the death of my wife. May it be God's will that this man be delivered into the hands of a kingdom who has no compassion on him. Barhedya said to him, what should I do? We learned through tradition that the curse of a sage, even if baseless, comes true, all the more so in the case of Rava, as he cursed me justifiably. He said to himself, let me go into exile, as the master has said, exile atones for transgression. He arose and exiled himself to the seat of Roman government. He went and sat by the entrance, where the keeper of the king's wardrobe stood. The wardrobe guard had a dream. He said to Barhedya, I saw in the dream that a needle pierced my finger. Barhedya said to him, give me a zuz. Zuz was the currency in those days. He did not give him the coin, so Barhedya said nothing to him. He's smart. He's trying to, well, what's the story? Oh gosh. Oh, it's such a good story, and I forgot it. Mm. Oh, yeah. Like the story of the guy who comes the day after Yom Kippur, he comes to the rabbi, he says, Rabbi, after yesterday's prayer services, I feel so bad about everything. Here is a bag with all the valuables I've stolen, with everybody's name, please, if you could give them back for me. And the rabbi says, it's wonderful, Yossel, the Ganef. It's wonderful to see you changing your ways. Well, anyways, the next day morning, the rabbi wants to see the time, and he realizes his gold watch is stolen. So he calls in Yossel the Ganav. He says, Yossel, when you were here, did you perhaps take my watch? And he says, Rabbi, I cannot tell a lie. Yes, I took your watch. And the rabbi says, I don't understand. You were here repenting, asking God for forgiveness, and at that moment you took my watch? He says, Rabbi, repentance is repentance. A business is business. Sometimes a person is so entrenched in their ways that they can't, So Barhedja couldn't give this guy a good answer because the guy didn't pay him. But he also learned this a little bit, and he learned that he shouldn't interpret this guy's dream because then bad stuff will happen. So at least he did some kind of a good, some kind of changing his ways. So Barhedja said nothing to him. Again, the next day, the guard said to him, I saw a worm that fell between my fingers and ate them. Barhedja said, give him me a coin. And he didn't give him a coin. So Barhedja said nothing to him. And the third time, the guard said to him, I saw a worm falling upon my entire hand and eating it. And this time, Barhedja couldn't hold himself back and said, a worm is going to fall upon and eat all the silk garments. They heard of this in the king's palace, and they brought the wardrobe keeper, and they were in the process of executing him. He said to them, why are you going to kill me? Bring the one who knew about this and didn't say the information he knew. They brought Barhedja, and he said to him, because of your zuz, ruin came upon the king's silk garments. They said, if you were, because of, he said, if you would have only paid me the first time you had this dream, I could have saved it. But you didn't want. They tied 2 cedar trees together with a rope and tied one of his legs to one and one of his legs to the other, and they released the rope until his head split open. Each tree went back and stood in its place, and Barhedja split and fell completely split in two. So he had a very bitter end. The Gemara relates a story with regard to a sage who interpreted dreams, Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael interpreted dreams. Ben Dama, the son of Yishmael's sister, asked his uncle, Rabbi Yishmael, I saw in my dream that 2 cheeks fell off. What does my dream mean? Rabbi Yishmael said to him, 2 Roman battalions spoke ill of you, and they died, cheeks symbolizing a mouth that speaks evil. Similarly, the Gemara relates, Bar Kapara said to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, I saw in my dream that my nose fell off. What is the meaning of my dream? He said to him, that is an illusion, that anger that has been directed against you has been removed for you. Bar Kapara said to him, I saw in my dream that my 2 hands were cut off. Rebbe said to him, the dream means that you will not require the labor of your hands, because you will be rich and will have considerable means without effort. Bar Kapara said to him, I saw my legs were cut off. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said, you are riding a horse. He said to him, I saw they were saying to me that in the month of Adar I will die and I will not see the month of Nisan. He said to him, you will die in glory and you will not be brought to temptation. Because Adar stands for Adrusa, and temptation, the word Nisan, stands similar to Nisayon. So we see over here also the rabbis were giving beautiful interpretations to the dreams. The Gemara says a different case of a dream interpretation. A certain heretic said to Rabbi Yishmael, I saw in my dream that I was irrigating olives with olive oil. What is the interpretation of my dream? He said to him, it is a sign that you had relations with your mother, as oil comes from the olive and he is returning the oil to the olives. The heretic said to him, I saw I was plucking a star. Rabbi Yishmael said, you kidnapped an Israelite man, as Israel is likened to the star. The heretic said to him, I saw that I swallowed a star. He said to him, you sold the Israelite man who you kidnapped and spent the money that you received from the sale. The heretic said to him, I saw my eyes kissing one another. He said to him, that means you had relations with your sister, as siblings are like 2 eyes. The heretic said to him, I saw myself kissing the moon. He said to him, that means you slept with an Israelite woman who was likened to the moon. He said, I saw that I was treading in the shade of a myrtle tree. He said, that means you slept with a betrothed young woman, as was the custom to make a canopy of myrtle for the betrothal. He said to him, I saw that the shade was above me and the tree was below me. He said to him, your bed is upside down, meaning that your relations with the betrothed woman were unnatural. He said to him, I saw ravens circling my bed. He said to him, your wife committed adultery with many men. He said to him, I saw doves circling around my bed. He said to him, you have defiled many women. He said to him, I saw that I was holding 2 doves and they were flying. He said to him, you married 2 women and dismissed them from your house without a divorce. Wow, this continues. He said, I saw myself peeling eggs. He said to him, that means that you took away the clothes of dead people, because an egg is eaten at the meal of comfort after burying the dead. The same heretic said to him, everything you interpreted is true, except the last one. The last interpretation is not true. And while they were talking, this woman came and said to him, the cloak that you are wearing belongs to such and such a man who died, and you stripped him of his clothing. Wow. Interesting character. He said to Rabbi Yishmael, I saw that they said to me in a dream, your father left you property in Cappadocia. Where is Cappadocia? Anyone heard of Cappadocia?
Oh.
Let's see. Let's see if Google knows where Cappadocia is. Some region in Turkey. Okay. Looks like a beautiful place. Okay. Rabbi Shmuel said to him, do you have property in Cappadocia? The heretic said to him, no. Did your father ever go to Cappadocia? The heretic said to him, no. Rabbi Shmuel said to him, if so, it must be understood as follows. Kappa in Greek. Lema, should we be able to mute just while there's that background noise?
Me?
Yeah, you're able to mute just while there's a lot of noise in the background. Or maybe it stopped already. No, you're good. It stopped. Thank you. Rabbi Shmuel said to him, if so, it must be understood as follows. Kappa in Greek means beam and deca means 10. Go look at the 10th beam in your house and you will find that it's full of coins. He went and found that it was full of coins. The Gemara continues dealing with interpretations of the details of dreams. Rabbi Hanina said, one who sees a well in a dream sees peace, as it is said, and Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of living water, and ultimately there was peace. Rabbi Nassan says, one who sees a well in his dream, it is a symbol that he has found Torah, as the well symbolizes Torah, as it is stated with regards to the Torah, for who finds me finds life. And it is written here, a well of living water. And we see that a well is linked to the Torah, as both are associated with life. Rava says the well in the dream symbolizes real life. Rabbi Chanan said there are 3 items seen in a dream that are indication of peace: a river, a bird, and a pot. The Gemara elaborates. A river, as it is written, I will extend peace to her like a river, in Isaiah. A bird, as it is written, as birds hovering, so will the Lord of hosts protect Jerusalem, also from Isaiah. And a pot, as it is written, the Lord will establish peace for us, also from Isaiah. Peace is likened to a pot which is placed on the fire. As Rabbi Hanina said, we learned that a pot in a dream is a sign of peace with regard to a pot that does not have meat in it, because if a pot does have meat in it, it symbolizes calamity. As it is stated in Micah, yeah, they chop them in pieces as that which is in the pot as flesh within the cauldron. Since rivers, birds, and pots have ambiguous connotations, it is recommended that someone who sees them in a dream recite a verse that interprets the dream positively. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, one who sees something in a dream that might be interpreted ambiguously should recite an appropriate verse suggestive of a positive interpretation. For example, one who sees a river in a dream should rise early and recite, I will extend peace to her like a river, before any different verse where the negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality. For example, for distress will come in like a river. One who sees a bird in a dream should rise early and recite, as birds hovering, so will the Lord of hosts protect Jerusalem, before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming reality, which is, as a bird that wanders from her nest, so is a man that wanders from his place. One who sees a pot in a dream should rise early and recite, Lord, you will establish peace for us, before a different verse, which concludes with a wrathful prophecy, can precede it in becoming a reality. Set the pot, set it on. grapes. One who sees grapes in a dream should rise early and recite, I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness, before a different verse with negative connotation can precede it in becoming reality, which is, their grapes are grapes of gal, their clusters are bitter. One who sees a mountain in a dream should rise early and recite, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of the messenger of good tidings that announces peace, the harbinger of good tidings that announces salvation, before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality. For the mountains will I take up a weeping and a wailing. One who sees a shofar in a dream should rise early and recite, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great shofar will be sounded, and they will come that were lost in the land of Assyria, and they that were dispersed in the land of Egypt. Before a different verse in which the shofar is a symbol of war can precede it, in becoming a reality, blow you the horn in Giva. One who sees a dog in a dream should rise early and recite. But against the children of Israel shall not a dog wet his tongue. Before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming reality, yea, the dogs are greedy. One who sees a lion in a dream should rise early and recite, the lion has roared, who will not fear? The Lord God has spoken, who can but prophesy? Before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality, a lion is gone up from his thicket, and a destroyer of nations is set out, gone forth from his place. One who sees a shave in his dream should rise early and recite, and he shaved himself and changed his raiment, which was said with regard to Joseph when he left prison and rose to greatness. Before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality, if I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak. About Samson. One who sees a well in a dream should rise early and recite, a well of living waters, before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality, as a cistern wells with her water, so wells in its wickedness. One who sees a reed in a dream should rise early and recite, a bruised reed shall he not break, in praise of the Mashiach. Before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming a reality, now behold, you trust upon the staff of this bruised reed, which is a disparaging depiction of Egypt. The sages teach. One who sees a reed in a dream should expect wisdom, as it says, Kanei. One who sees several reeds should expect understanding, as it is said, yea, with all your acquisitions, kinyoneha, acquire understanding. Rabbi Zera said pumpkin, hearts of palm, wax, and reed are all advantageous when one dreams about them. It was also taught in a brisa, a pumpkin is only showed in a dream to one who fears heaven with all his might, because pumpkins are interpreted as an acronym for Dolu Einai Lemorim, my eyes are raised on high. One who sees an ox in his dream should rise early and recite, his firstling bullock, majesty is his, before a different verse with a negative connotation can precede it in becoming reality, if an ox gore a man. The sages taught in a brisa, 5 matters are said about dreams with regard to the ox. One who dreams that he ate from its flesh will become wealthy. One who dreams that it gored him will have sons who are Torah scholars who gore each other in an attempt to better understand the Torah. That's an allegorical goring, not actually fighting. One who dreams that the ox bit him, suffering is coming. One who dreams that it kicked him will be required to travel a great distance in the future. One who dreams that he was riding this bull, it is a sign that he will rise to greatness. The Gemara challenges, wasn't it taught in a brisa that if you see a dream that you're riding a bull, it is a sign that you will die? The Gemara responds, no, you didn't understand it. It's not difficult at all. This that he taught will rise to greatness refers to a case where he saw that he was riding the ox, while this, which taught that the sign of his imminent death, refers to a case where the ox was riding him. One who sees a donkey in a dream should anticipate salvation. As it is said, behold, your king comes unto you, he is triumphant and victorious, lowly and riding upon a donkey. This is talking about Mashiach coming. One who sees a cat in his dream in a place where in Aramaic they call it Shimra, a nice song will be composed for him. If he sees a cat in a place where they call cats Shinra, it is a sign where he will undergo a change for the worse. One who sees grapes in a dream and they were white or light colored, regardless of whether it was in their season or not in their season, it is a good sign. One who sees black grapes in their season, it is a good omen, but if you see black grapes and it's not in season, it is a bad omen. One who sees a white horse in a dream, regardless whether the horse was walking or running, it is a good omen for him. If you see a red horse walking, it is a good omen, but if you see a red horse running, it is a bad omen. The Gemara sees one who sees Yishmael in a dream, it is an omen that his prayer will be heard, just as Yishmael's prayer was heard. The Gemara notes that is only if you see Yishmael, the son of Abraham, but not just a random Arab, who are also called Yishmaelim. One who sees a camel in a dream, that death was decreed upon him from heaven, but he was spared. Rabbi Chomer, the son of Rabbi Chanina, says, what verse alludes to this? I will go down with you into Egypt, and I will surely bring you up again. Gam Aloy sounds like Gummel. The acronym for this is Gummel. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said the source is from here. Another verse, the Lord also has put away your sin, you shall not die. One who sees Pinchas in his dream, it is an omen that a miracle will be performed on his behalf, just as miracles were performed for Pinchas. One who sees an elephant.
Who is Pinchas?
Very good question. Who was Pinchas? Pinchas was the son of Aaron, the high priest, the one who speared the prince of the tribe of Shimon, who was having relations with a Midianite woman, and he killed them in the act while standing outside their tent, and a number of miracles happened to him because, number one, the spear got into the right spot. Number two, it happened while they were in the act of intimacy. Number three, the fact that he made it there with a spear, all of those miracles happened to him, and that way he was able to stop the epidemic of immorality among the Jewish camp. One who sees an elephant in a dream, it is an omen that miracles will be performed for him. If you see a lot of elephants in a dream, that means miracles upon miracles will be performed for him. The Gemara asks, was it not taught in a brisa that all species of animals are good omens in a dream with the exception of an elephant and a monkey? So how can we say that miracles will happen to you if you see an elephant? The Gemara answers, that's also not difficult. Aye. This opinion that seeing an elephant is a good omen refers to a case where you saw it saddled, while this opinion that it is a bad omen refers to a case where the elephant is not saddled. If you see a man named Huna in your dream, it is a sign that a miracle will be performed for him, because the letter Nun represents the word nes, miracle. One who sees a man named Chanina, Chananya, or Yochanan, which all have multiple nuns, it is a sign that many miracles will be performed for him, since the letter Nun appears twice in those names. One who sees a eulogy in a dream, it is a sign that the heavens had mercy upon him and spared him from a divine death sentence, and there will be no need to eulogize him in reality. The Gemara restricts this statement and says that only applies if you saw a eulogy written but not yet delivered. One who answers in his dream and says, Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavarach, from Kaddish, is assured that he is one who has a place in the world to come. One who sees himself reciting Shema in a dream is worthy of having the divine presence rest upon him, but his generation is unworthy, and therefore the divine presence does not rest upon him. One who sees himself put on tefillin in a dream should anticipate greatness, as it is said, and all the peoples of the earth shall see the name of the Lord is called upon you, and they shall be afraid of you. And it was taught in a brisa that Eliezer the Great said that the name of the Lord is called upon you refers to tefillin of your head, as they represent God's name on man. One who sees himself praying in a dream, it is an auspicious omen. However, the Gemara adds a caveat and says, that only applies in a case where he saw in the dream that he had not yet finished prayer and is therefore still close to God. If in the dream he finished his prayer, that is no omen. One who sees that he has relations with his mother in a dream, he should anticipate attaining understanding, as it is written, yea, if you call for understanding. If is im, which is similar to aim. One who sees that he had relations with a betrothed young woman in a dream, he should anticipate Torah, as it is stated, Moses commanded us Torah, an inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. Do not read it as Morasha, rather Ma'orasa, which is betrothed. One who sees that he had relations with his sister in a dream should anticipate wisdom, as it is said, say unto wisdom, you are my sister. One who sees that he had relations with a married woman in a dream is assured that he has a place in the world to come. He receives his place as well as that of another person in Gan Eden, as the married woman represents a portion belonging to someone else. However, the Gemara adds a caveat and says, all of these only apply in a case where you did not know her and were not planning or were not thinking or dreaming about this person. Rather, he saw an unidentified woman in his dream by chance. If a person has a dream about having relations with someone that they've been dreaming about in the day, that does not mean anything. That just means what you think about during the day, you dream about at night. Rabbi Chia bar Abba said, one who sees wheat in a dream has seen peace. As it is stated, he makes your board at peace. He gives you plenty of fat of the wheat. And one who sees barley in a dream has received the sign that his iniquities are taken away. As it is stated, and your iniquity is taken away and your sin expiated. So Oirim is an acronym for Sar Avin. Rabbi Zera said, I did not ascend from Babylonia to Eretz Yisrael until I saw barley in my dream, and then I knew that I was worthy of moving to the Holy Land. One who sees a vine laden with grapes in a dream is an omen that his wife will not miscarry, as it is stated, your wife shall be as a fruitful vine in the innermost parts of your house. One who sees a planted vine branch in a dream should anticipate the Mashiach, as it is stated, binding his fall unto the vine and his donkey's colt unto the vine branch. One who sees a fig in a dream, it is a sign that his Torah is preserved within him, as it says, one who keeps the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. One who sees pomegranates in a dream, if they were small, his business will flourish like the seeds of a pomegranate, which are numerous. If they were large, his business will increase like a pomegranate. One who saw slices of pomegranates in his dream, if he is a Torah scholar, he should anticipate the Torah. As it is stated, I would cause you to drink of spiced wine, the juice of my pomegranate, from Song of Songs, which is traditionally understood as an allusion to the Torah. If the dreamer is an ignoramus, he should anticipate doing a lot of mitzvahs, as it is said, your temples are like a split pomegranate. And as the Gemara previously interpreted homiletically, what is the meaning of the words, your temples, even the most ignorant among you, are full of mitzvahs like a pomegranate. One who sees, there's a very interesting story about that with the Lubavitcher Rebbe, that there was once a follower of, I think it was the Satmar Rebbe, who came by the Lubavitcher Rebbe for dollars, and he said, my Rebbe asked me to ask you about this line in the Talmud. Why are we talking if it says that even the sinners of Israel are filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate? If they're the sinners of Israel, how could it be that they're full of mitzvahs? And the Rebbe said, when I learned that section in the Talmud, I also had a question, but my question was the other way around. If they're filled with mitzvahs, why are we calling them sinners of Israel? One who sees olives in a dream, if they were small, it is a sign that his business will flourish, increase, and be durable like olives. However, the Gemara adds a caveat, saying that this applies only when he sees the fruit of an olive tree. But if you see just olive trees, it is a sign that you will have many children, as it is stated, your children like olive plants round at your table. Some say that one who sees an olive tree, Some say that when he sees an olive tree in a dream, it is a sign that a good reputation will spread for him. As it is stated, the Lord called your name a leafy olive tree, fair with goodly fruit. One who sees olive oil in a dream should anticipate the light of Torah, as it is stated, that they bring unto you pure olive oil beaten for the light. One who sees palm trees in a dream, it is a sign that his transgressions have ceased. As it is said, your iniquity is finished, O daughter of Zion. And the Gemara likens Tamara to Tam Ra, evil has ceased. Rabbi Yosef says, when he sees a goat in a dream, it is a sign that his year will be blessed. If you see lots of goats, your years will be blessed. As it is stated, and there will be goat's milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and the sustenance for your maidens. One who sees a myrtle in his dream, it is a sign that his property will be successful. And if he does not own property, it is a sign that he will receive an inheritance. You know what they say, misers make good ancestors. Ullah said, and some say it was taught in a brisa. This applies exclusively when he saw them on their stem. One who sees an esrog, a citron, in a dream, has seen a sign that he is honored before his creator, as it is stated with regard to the citron, the fruit of the goodly trees, branches of palm trees. One who sees a lulav, a palm branch in his dream, it is a sign that he has but one heart for his Father in heaven. Lulav is interpreted homiletically as loy lev, which means he has a heart. One who sees a goose in his dream should anticipate wisdom, as it is stated, wisdom's cry aloud in the streets. She utters her voice in the broad places, and geese tend to sound their voice. One who dreams that he had relations with the goose will become the head of the yeshiva. Rav Ashi said, what happened to me? I saw a goose and had relations with it in my dream, and I ascended to greatness and became the head of the yeshiva. One who sees, again, this is only if a person who is not thinking during the day about such matters. One who sees a rooster in a dream should anticipate a male child. If you see many roosters, you should expect male children. One who sees a hen should anticipate a beautiful garden and reason to rejoice. As Tarnaga, this is interpreted as an acronym for Tarbitza, Na'a, Vigila. One who sees eggs in a dream, it is a sign that his request is pending, as egg in Aramaic is Beya, which is similar to the term of request. If one saw the eggs broke, it is a sign that his request has been granted, as that which was hidden inside the shell was revealed. The same is true of nuts, the same is true of cucumbers, and the same is true of all glass vessels. The same is true of anything fragile that broke in your dream is a sign that your request has been granted. One who dreams that he entered a city is a sign that his desires will be fulfilled. As it is stated, he led them unto their desired haven. One who shaves his head in a dream, it is a good omen for him, as the removal of undesired hairs is a sign of renewal and greatness. If he shaved his head and his beard in the dream, it is a good omen for him and the entire family. One who sits on a small boat in a dream, it is a sign that a good reputation will spread for him. If he sees himself sitting in a large boat in a dream, a good reputation will spread for him and his entire family. The Gemara notes that this only applies if the boat is floating high on the waves. If the boat is sinking, that's not necessarily a good omen. One who defecates in a dream, it is a good omen for him. As it is stated, he that is bent down shall speedily be loosed, and he shall not go down dying in the pit, neither shall his bread fail. The Gemara notes that this only applies if he didn't wipe himself with his hands and get dirty. One who climbs up to the roof in a dream, it is a sign that he will ascend to greatness. If after he climbed up, he climbed back down, it is a sign that he will descend from the greatness he achieved. Abaya and Rava both said, once one ascended to the roof in his dream, and he ascended. Even if he dreams that he came down, it remains a good omen for him. One who rips his clothing in a dream, it is a sign that will rip up his sentence. One who stands naked in Babylonia in a dream is a sign that he stands free of transgression. Although living outside Israel itself is a transgression, his nakedness symbolizes that he has been absolved of sin. If one dreamed that he stood naked in Eretz Yisrael, it is a sign that he is naked without mitzvahs. One who dreams that he was apprehended and guarded by a soldier, it is a sign that protection was provided him by heaven. If he sees that he is wearing a neck chain, it is a sign that they have increased his level of protection. However, the Gemara notes that that only applies in a case where his head is placed in a neck chain. If his neck was in a noose, that does not indicate heavenly protection. One who enters a marsh in a dream, it is a sign that he will become the head of a yeshiva, as he appears to be standing alone with all the bulrushes, large and small, surrounding him like the head of a yeshiva, among whom all the students gather. One who dreams that he entered a forest and sees large trees around him, it is a sign that he will be made head of the advanced students, where he will explain the lessons only to the outstanding students in the yeshiva, each of whom is like a great tree apart from the others. The Gemara relates Rav Papa and Rav Huna, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, saw a dream. Rav Papa saw that he entered a marsh in his dream and he was appointed the head of the yeshiva. Rav Huna, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, who saw that he entered a forest in his dream, was appointed the head of the advanced students. Some say that both of them dreamed that they entered a marsh, but Rav Papa, who dreamt that a drum hung from his neck, was appointed to the head of the yeshiva because banging a drum symbolizes the head of yeshiva who sounds his voice in public. And Rav Huna, the son of Rabbi Yeshua, did not dream about a drum hanging around his neck. It was appointed only the head of the advanced students. Rav Ashi said, I had a dream that I entered a marsh and I hung a drum and beat it, and Rav Ashi became the head of the yeshiva. The Tana who recited Mishnayos before Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak taught. One who lets blood in a dream, it is a sign that his transgressions have been forgiven, because red, the color of blood, is a metaphor for sin. Though your sins be as scarlet, they be red like crimson. So bloodletting can symbolize transgressions leaving him. The Gemara asks, was it not taught in a brisa? One who sees bloodletting in a dream is a sign that his transgressions are enumerated before him. The Gemara answers, what do we mean when we say enumerated? We mean that we're counting them to forgive them. The Tana who taught Mishnayos before Rav Sheshes taught, one who sees a snake in a dream, it is a sign that his livelihood is accessible to him, just as dust is readily accessible to a snake. If one saw the snake bit him in his dream, it is a sign that his livelihood will double. If he killed the snake, it is a sign that he will lose his livelihood. Rav Sheshes said to the Tana, on the contrary, if one dreamed that he killed a snake, it is a sign that all the more so his livelihood will double. The Gemara remarks that is not so. Rav Sheshes saw a snake in his dream and he killed it. And that's why he tried to interpret his dream positively. But really, if you see a snake in a dream, that's not a good sign. The Tana who recited the Mishnahs before Rabbi Yochanan taught, one who sees any kind of drink in a dream, it is a good omen, except for wine. Because wine, if you drink it in a dream, it could be a good omen or it could be a bad omen. The Gemara relates. There is one who drinks wine, and it is a good omen for him, as it is stated, and wine that makes glad the heart of man. And there is one who drinks it in a dream, and it is a bad omen for him, as it is stated, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto the bitter in soul. Rabbi Yochanan said to the Tana, you should teach that for a Torah scholar, a dream of wine is always a good omen. As it is stated, come and eat of my bread and drink of my wine, which I have mingled. Made great headway today. And Rabbi Yochanan said also, when he awakened in the morning and a verse immediately falls in his mouth, that is a minor prophecy, the sages thought there are three kings whose appearance in a dream is significant. If you see King David in a dream, expect piety. If you see Solomon in a dream, expect wisdom. And if you see Achav in a dream, you should be concerned about calamity. Whew, that's a lot of dreams. Have any of you dreamed ever of any of those dreams?
A lot of very specific dreams.
I know, right? Okay, please join us
What
tomorrow.
about a black horse?
Sorry?
Earlier you said a white horse is good and a red horse is bad or something like that.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention a black horse.
He didn't yet mention a black horse. That's a good point. A black horse has not been mentioned. I'm not sure if there's any significance there. I don't remember if we're going to learn about it later or if it's just not mentioned. But let's say, Zalman, that a black horse means, well, what was happening to the black horse?
I don't know much about horses.
Did you dream of a black horse or are you just asking?
No, I'm just asking because I know that you said a white horse and a red horse, and you didn't say a
okay.
black horse.
Got it. I was going to start giving beautiful interpretations.
Mhm.
Please join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. here at Chabad Central Broward for our Wednesday Parsha class. Why do we celebrate the clouds of glory with the holiday of Sukkot, but we do not have a celebration of the manna from heaven or the water from the rock? Thank you, Leib Moshe. Great to see you. Thank you, Zalman. Great to see you. Thank you, Bella Esther. Great to see you. And next week, Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m., please join us here for a Lag BaOmer barbecue. Sign up will go out hopefully in the next few days, but it'll be happening. Take care and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Take care.